Sacred Alchemy Law number 4. The work generated by painful experiences. Okay, folks, this is a long one. I was at the Denver airport and I was noticing that the known traveler number was not printed on my card. So I went back to try and get it. She tried printing it 7 times, couldn't get it on there. I said, fine, I'll just go through the regular line. Been a long time since I went through the regular line, but I did. I went through the regular line. When I got up there, you have to do that little, stand like a little thingy. Yeah, like you're raw. Anyway, so I did that, and the came out on the other side, and the woman wants to pat my hair. I asked her to change her gloves. She did that. And then she said, well, I'll need to actually check your groin, and this is what we do. And she started talking as if this was a normal thing. And I said, whoa, wait a minute. What did you say? You want to do what? She wanted to touch my groin. I looked at the picture, and it looked like there was something yellow around my groin. I was like, oh, you know what? No. Wait, but let me think. No, we're not doing that. I'm not doing that today. I'm not doing that. And then it just really hit me. All the loss of James and not having him here with me to protect me, to feel supported and cared for. I just started crying. I just started crying. I'm like, no, I can't. And then I tried to pull myself together. Could I? No, I just started crying even more. Then they were like freaking out. Now everybody's freaking out, and they're like trying to get me out of line and move my stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I need to call my friend. They're like, no, you can't touch your stuff. I'm like, okay, great. I can't even get my phone. I'm in TSA jail. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And they're like, well, okay, well, we're just gonna get you over here. So I'm standing over. We gotta wait for the manager now from the airline to come and to really talk to you and get this worked out. Well, as I'm waiting, this white male was standing there, and he says to me, and I asked him a question. I'm calming myself down. I'm like, okay. I asked him the question. So when the manager gets here, what's the manager going to do? And he said, calm down. And I said, the manager's going to calm down? And he said, no, you need to calm down. And then I said, oh, wait a minute. I am calming down. I'm asking you a question that would help me calm down, and your answer is not helping me at all. Could you answer my question, please? And he's like, oh, well, I don't really know what the manager's gonna do. Well, great, that doesn't help. Okay, so now I'm mad, and I'm sad, and I'm frustrated, and then the woman comes over, and she's trying to help me, and that's not helping. They finally get a black man to come over, an older black man to come over. He's a police officer. He comes over, and he starts talking to me. He kind of reminds me of my friend Benny, and he has the last name of my neighbors, like Weathersby was his last. So I was willing to talk to him, and he was talking to me about his kids and about the weekend they had together, and showed me pictures, and it was like, that was much more. I felt a lot more human, because now we're talking about human being stuff as opposed to anything related to TSA. So as I'm still waiting, and it took almost 45 minutes for the manager to finally come. So this man comes over, he talks to me, and he starts talking to me. He just walks up and starts talking to me and asking me questions. I said, what's your name? And then he tells me his name, and I shake his hand, and I say my name, and he's like, then he keeps going. He starts launching into it. I'm like, so what's your role? And he says, oh, well, I'm the manager from the airline. I'm like, oh, so you're the person I've been waiting for. Okay, great. So now I've got context of who I'm talking to, because I've talked to so many people. I didn't know who he was. He wasn't identified or anything. Anyway, long story short, we got this kind of set up, and he said, well, I'm trying to work it out because you missed your flight now, and we want to make sure you don't have to pay for another flight. And I'm like, yeah, because I can afford to pay for another ticket. But it was either let her touch my groin, or I couldn't get on the plane. And that was all there was to that. I couldn't get on the plane. My God. So, and I'm like, because that's not going to happen today. So now you can't now charge me now to get my ticket. So he worked out the logistics around it. He was telling me I was going to get on the plane around 3 in the afternoon, that kind of thing. I'm like, okay, get there at 6 o'clock. And so I was going to miss my connection with the other people. And I was like, oh my God, this is kind of crazy. I said, I need to call my friend. He's like, okay, well, let's get your things together, get you all put together, and get you outside of TSA. So they gathered my stuff up, put me outside of TSA. And then I sat down and I started wondering, like, so where's my checked bag? Where is that? I mean, I checked a bag on that flight that I didn't get on. Where is that? And then where do I go to get my ticket? Like, and what do they need from me to get that? I mean, well, they haven't. Well, it was just really weird. It was really weird. And so I realized I just didn't know what to do. And so I just started crying. And I cried for a long while. And then I called my friend Alyssa, and I said, I need your help. I just told her what happened with TSA, and she said, I'm on my way. She's about 45 minutes drive away. So I sat there, and then I cried some more, and then I decided to figure out what I could go somewhere in this huge Denver airport. It's crazy big. I wandered around and finally found the ticket counter where I wanted to go in, and I found an African American woman who had a warm face, and I waited in line for her. And then when she came available, I went and asked her this question. I said, "Can you help me? I'm having a rough day." I told her I had some problems with TSA. They tried to check my groin. I couldn't have it happen. It wasn't going to work for me. And, my husband passed away. I just couldn't cope. I needed to get on another flight to Chicago, and I need to get there as quickly as possible. Can you check the other flights? So she said I'd be happy to. She checked the flights. There was nothing on the first flight out. There's something on the next flight out that would get me there late in the afternoon. Did I want that flight? And at that point, my head started swimming. I couldn't feel like I could make a decision. I said, you know what? I'm gonna wait till my friend Alyssa gets here, and when she gets here, then we'll come and work this out. But I can't even make a decision right now. I need to go over there and cry. And she said, okay, well listen, when you're ready, don't stand in line at all. Just come right up. I'll help you right away. Just come right on up, okay? And I said, okay. And then I went over and I found a wall, and I slid down the wall and just sat and just cried and cried and cried and laid down and cried and cried and cried. And I just cried probably for a good 20 minutes. I was just in so much pain, realizing how hard it was to cope. And then eventually, people walked by, and I saw people walking by, and what do you do when somebody's walking by somebody who's crying? You just walk by the person that's crying. Not me. I generally stop and check in and see if there's anything I can do to help, but nobody did that. I just sat there and cried, and it was lonely and hard, and I just felt horrible. And then Alyssa found me. She just hugged me on the floor for a while until I was ready to get up and do what needed to be done. And she said, I'll just hold your hand and we'll just walk our way through it. I'll do the talking if you want me to. Whatever you tell me what you want me to do. I'm like, yes, you talk. I can't talk right now. So she held my arm and she said, we're gonna go work some magic, okay, Yvette? I said, okay. So we went over, and the warm-faced woman was ready, and she ushered us over, and then Alyssa came, and we went up to her and told her that we needed a seat on the morning flight. Could she check and see if there was one available? And one had opened up. So I was able to get on the morning flight, which was great. And then Alyssa said, now we need to get some hotel arrangements. Do you have hotel arrangements that you can, vouchers or something like that to make it accessible? So she said, well, I need to talk to my manager. So she called the manager over, and the manager came over and said, so what's happened? And I immediately thanked her, because of all the people that I talked to in the airline, no one asked that question. So I was really grateful to her for asking that question. So I thanked her, and then I told her what had happened with TSA and how my husband had died and how I was having a really difficult day. And she looked at me and she said, you need to get down on your knees and pray to Jesus right away and ask him why this has happened to you. And I was like, okay. So I said, has this happened to you? And she said, yes. And I said, look, just so you know, I've already been in touch with Jesus, and this is part of the reason why my friend is here, and I've already got support. The seat opened up, everything's good, but I'm just curious, so when did this happen for you? She's like, well, 4 years ago. And I said, how did you handle it? And she said, well, I got on my knees and I prayed to Jesus and asked why. It was really hard. So I'm listening to her basically tell me her story about how challenging it was, what she'd gone through. Now, I'm already in pain, like I'm in this writhing pain right now, and now I am being asked to hold her pain of her experience. And this is part of the problem of having a painful experience and sharing it in any way, because it's a reflection. People see the reflection of their own pain and they wake up to it, and then they want to talk about it, and then I end up either holding it or not, or you have this clash or something happens. But we had a thing we had to do. I needed a hotel room. So I listened to her and I thanked her for her story, and I said, thank you for the prayers, I appreciate it. So what we really need now is a hotel voucher. We're trying to figure out a hotel because I have to leave early in the morning. So I asked, do you have any, Alyssa asked, do you have any hotel vouchers you can offer? Oh, no, we don't have any of that. Well, there's a Hilton connected to this hotel. Do you have a relationship with the Hilton? She's like, oh no, we don't have any relationship with them at all. It's just us. So do you have anything that you can offer with regard to housing? No, we don't have anything. So she asked, well, Yvette's wondering where her checked bag is. Oh, well, that's probably on the flight and it's on its way there. So she can just get that when she gets there. Now, that's breaking a law? Like, really? I'm not supposed to travel without my bag. Isn't that that's part of the security thing, right? Like, if I can't go, how can my bag go? Anyway, whatever. Alyssa said, we're not going to fight that battle right now. What we're going to do is make sure that we get you a place to stay. So she hooked me on the arm, and we took the long walk over to the Hotel Hilton. And when we got there, it was crazy busy because in the meantime, a storm had hit Denver. So like storm of ice and snow and all kinds of stuff, which meant that the demand for the rooms was up because flights were being delayed. So now we waited a while to be able to get to somebody who could help us, and we finally got to the front, and she was talking to us, and we met this nice woman. She said, well, because there's so much demand, the nightly rate is $348 for one night, which was more than the airline ticket. Oh my God. I just like, you know what? I'll just sleep on a bench. I'll sleep on a bench. And Alyssa was like, no, you will not. No, we're going to work this out. She just said, please work any magic you can. I'm a resident of the state. She's like, oh, okay, you're a resident. Maybe we can do a resident discount. She starts to work her magic. She's doing some stuff. She comes over and she shows us, I gave you a discounted rate, which was like so reasonable. Alyssa paid for it, which was amazing. And then she gave me like $50 in vouchers for food because like they were saying there's an hour wait to get food delivered because of, it was late now. It's like 11 o'clock at night. It's still, they're still delivering food, but it's late and it's hard. Anyway, she gave me vouchers for that. She moved me into a room that was a beautiful suite. So Alyssa took me up to the room. I slept in this wonderful bed, had a beautiful shower, put my things in the fridge, just relaxed and just slept so comfortably. I felt like a queen. And Alyssa said, you know what? You are. I said, oh my God. I said, it was a hard night to go through, but I am so grateful to be held with such tenderness.